we're live on the Premier Wellness Travel Facebook page, and I want to thank everybody who's here to join us today. I'm here with my co-host, Monica Thomas of Tailored Taste. Hi, Monica. My name's Cassandra Marcella Metzger. I'm the travel designer with Premier Wellness Travel and the founder of Premier Wellness Travel. And we're here today to give you guys a preview of a wonderful event that we have coming up starting in 2 weeks, the week after Valentine's Day, to give everybody a taste of Italy, the flavors and fun of Italy. And let me introduce Monica first before we get into the details about the event. Monica is a premier member of the U.S. Personal Chef Association. She was twice featured on the cover of Personal Chef magazine. And since the pandemic, you've been teaching from your home, I gather, and mastering all the technology of doing that and figuring out how to get a camera on your hands as well. So I've known Monica for over a decade. We were talking earlier, trying to remember how we met. Neither of us can remember exactly how we connected, but it was over a decade ago when I called upon you to come and help put some dishes in my refrigerator and freezer for me, correct?
That's right. That's right. I cooked first for you in my Monday through Friday capacity as a personal chef. And then we branched out into your parties, which are infamous.
I did have a lot of parties. So that was in my old house where I lived 10 years ago. Then we had a bunch of parties in DC at my apartment at 22 West. And now I'm just moved again. So we haven't initiated this place yet because of the pandemic. But yeah, we always did theme parties, and I love designing those around. I think we did 2 French parties, one on the roof. And then we did France Between the Wars to celebrate the creativity of France during the 20s and 30s. And then you reminded me, I think, that we did one Scottish Christmas. It was a Christmas party, wasn't it?
It was your holiday party, and we went with a Scottish/Outlander theme, which was a little bit of a challenge food-wise, but we figured it out.
And you made a vegetarian haggis. Is that what you did?
I did vegetarian haggis. It was the first time I had created a haggis without pieces parts, so to speak.
And why did I ask you to do that? Because I had vegetarian friends, or just, do you remember?
I think we were doing little meat pies for one dish, and then we wanted to branch out. And I also said I didn't think your friends would eat the innards that are typically in a haggis. So we went with the vegetarian version, which that was, I think, gone. That was one of the first dishes consumed that evening. So it went over pretty well. And I actually have made it several times since then because it's good.
That's great. That's great. So why don't you go ahead and introduce me?
I will. So as Cassandra said, we think we met in 2009, but we're not exactly sure. And we're not quite sure how we connected, but we did. And Cassandra has been, she's a yoga therapist. And I remember very much your little yoga studio within your apartment at 22 West. It was beautiful and peaceful. You're also a writer. I know you've been published by Huffington Post more than once. And I think you have an upcoming article this month.
I do. For the Arthritis Foundation for Valentine's Day.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Yeah. And as of late, she is a travel designer, which just fits with everything that Cassandra is and Cassandra does. She's creative. She loves to travel. Travel is in her blood, basically. And the creativity that she has in mixing and matching and taking the personality of her client and making sure that the travel experience fits for them specifically is her big gift to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think of myself as a matchmaker. You know, we figure out the why you want to travel and then work and design the right trip for that person with the right person on the ground too. There's a lot of travel suppliers to choose from, and it's my job to vet them and to make sure also that they're a good match for the person who wants to travel. So this event came about, the event that we're doing later this month, the Flavors and Fun of Italy, because I woke up to an email on, I think, New Year's Day from Monica saying, I've got the flavors and you've got the fun of travel. Let's get together and do something virtually for our clients. And I adore her. I knew that this would be a great thing to do. And because it's the month of love and because she and I both love Italy, you've traveled there how many times, Monica?
Well, I honeymooned there ages ago. That was my first trip there. And then since then, I think I've been 5 more times.
Wow. I studied law at the University of Siena for a summer, so I lived there for a while. So, and it's in my blood. I'm actually applying for Italian citizenship too. I don't know if I mentioned that to you, Monica, but we're working on that process. Yeah. So I woke up to this email. We decided to focus on Italy because we both love Italy and it's the month of love. We're going to start, like I said, on the 21st. We're going to go to Tuscany first with Belmont. Then we're going to travel to Sicily with Sea Italy tour operators. And then finally going to the Amalfi Coast with Access Italy. So the way that it's going to work is that there 45 minutes, this will all be virtual. You sign up, you'll get the Zoom link. And we'll be recording it too, so in case you might want to watch it again, which you might, because we're going to be learning how to master a dish from the region. Monica's going to spend 45 minutes or so teaching us a dish from the area. So from one of the 3 areas, we'll do this, in sequence. Do you remember, what are we learning in Tuscany? What kind of we're doing a pasta dish for Tuscany, yeah?
We're doing a pasta sauce, and you can put it over different pastas, but it's going to be porcini based, and it's going to be finished with truffle.
Right, because Belmont is going to show us and teach us all about truffle hunting, number 1, and then also talk about their Italian safari, which sounds strange, but is actually something that they offer at their castle in Tuscany. So, and then we're going to go to Sicily next to see some UNESCO sites and learn about all the different cultures that invaded Sicily and how they had a Norman king. And what recipe are we going to do there?
We are doing zucchini boats, and they're studded with golden raisins, is what we call them. In Italy, they call them sultanas. And they have garlic and some fresh breadcrumbs. They're really delicious. They're simple, but they really reflect a lot of the flavors. Almonds, there are a lot of almonds in it. And Sicily's produce is very different from the rest of Italy, and it reflects that influence you're talking about of the Moors and other cultures that came and assimilated. So their food is not traditional, what Americans think Italian food is. Mm-hmm. There's also cactus all over the island, which I never anticipated. Prickly pear is everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds great. This is going to be so much fun. I hope you guys join us. And then the last place we're going to go to is the Amalfi Coast. And I think the recipe there specializes in lemons. You shared a picture with me of a lemon that was the size of some guy's head.
Yes, there are these very unusual variety of lemons along the Amalfi Coast that are larger than grapefruit. And we obviously don't have them here, so we're going to be using regular lemons. But instead of focusing on traditional caprese, basil, mozzarella, that kind of flavor, I decided to focus on lemons because everywhere along the Amalfi Coast, you'll see lemon groves. And there are trails, lemon trails, where you walk and you're walking under lots and lots of lemons. It's the smell of the Amalfi Coast. So I thought we'd veer off a little bit from the traditional.
Right. That sounds great. And then on the tour side, I think we're going to hear some great stories from Access Italy. And I think included in that is going to be a discussion about one of the oldest museums on paper. Like, it's actually a museum that's focused on the making of paper, the process of paper, the way that they have done it in Italy for centuries. So I thought that was pretty neat and pretty cool. All right, so to celebrate what we're going to be doing, we put together a little quiz on Italy to see how well you know Italy. You can put your answers in the comments. We're going to go through all the questions first without giving the answers, and then we'll go through the questions again with a little bit of the answers. So let me pull that up for everybody. We're going to take that down, and we're going to take down this tag on the bottom, this chyron on the bottom. So just bear with me while we pull this up. Okay, here we go. So Facebook Live to preview. You ready for the first question? What basic ingredient is missing from Tuscan bread? And you can, again, put your guess in the comments. A, yeast, B, eggs, C, flour, or C, salt. Sorry, D is options is the salt. Monica, why don't you read the next one? We are alternating between food and tourism thing. So, Monica, why don't you read? I'll read the food ones. You read the other. You read the alternating ones. Okay.
Okay. How many active volcanoes are there in Italy? A, none. B, one. C, two. D, three.
Okay. Next one. Question number 3. Which region of Italy does not produce wine? Puglia, Piedmont, Venezia, or none?
Okay, question number 4. Italy is home to the largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. How many are there in Italy? More than 10, that would be A. B is more than 20. C is more than 30. And D is more than 40.
I love this question. How many pounds of pasta does the average Italian eat per year or consume per year? A, 30 to 40 pounds. B, 40 to 50 pounds. C, 50 to 60 pounds. Or D, 60 to 70 pounds. Okay, next one.
Question 6. Which instrument was invented in Italy? The mandolin, A. B, the piano. C, the viola. D, all of the above.
7. Question number 7. What 3 ingredients does true Neapolitan pizza have? A, tomato, mozzarella, and basil. B, tomato, mozzarella, and oregano. C, tomato, mozzarella, and Parmesan cheese. Or D, tomato, mozzarella, and pecorino romano.
So we got 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
Question number 8. How many times has Italy won the Football World Cup? A, none. B, 2 times. C, 4 times. D, 6 times.
Got 3 more. Which region of Italy routinely serves gelato in a brioche? A, Lombardy. B, Sicily. D, Sardinia. Or D, Abruzzo. I love this question too.
Question number 10. How many museums are there in Italy? A, greater than 1,000. B, greater than 2,000. C, more than 3,000. D, more than 4,000.
Last 2. How many different, this is another favorite of mine. I love anything about pasta. How many different shapes of pasta are there in Italy? A, about 150. B, about 250. C, about 350. Or D, about 450. And last question.
What is the longest river in Italy? A, the Tiber. B, the Arno. C, the Po. D, the Adige River. I probably pronounced that wrong. Adige.
Yeah, they pronounce all their vowels, so I think it is Adige.
Yeah, Adige.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here are the answers. You guys ready for the answers? I actually got this right. I guessed when we were setting this up. I don't know how maybe subconscious, maybe it's in my blood, I knew. The basic ingredient missing from Tuscan bread is, in fact, salt. That's a typical ingredient for bread, and that's missing in Tuscan bread. The next answer.
How many active volcanoes are there in Italy? The answer is 3. Vesuvius, Etna, and Stromboli.
I was reading this to sharing it with some friends last night. They didn't realize that Vesuvius was still considered an active volcano, but it is. Okay, number 3. Which region of Italy does not produce wine? The answer is D, none of them, because they all do. Thank God.
And well.
Yeah, very well.
Answer number 4. Italy is home to the largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. How many are there in Italy? Between 40 and 55 to be exact. And the Amalfi Coast is 1.
So is the old part of Naples and the old part of Florence. Yeah, they have 51, and that, like I said, it's the largest number. How many pounds of pasta does the average Italian consume per year? 50 to 60 pounds, 51 on average. That's impressive.
And some places I saw 55. Was now the average.
It sounds like a lot, but that's like 1 pound a week. I could do that. I could easily do that.
True.
Next one. What 3 ingredients does true Neapolitan pizza have? And the answer is the first one: tomato, mozzarella, and basil. And you said to me that there's a connection to the flag, the Italian flag.
Right. Yes, it's the red, white, and green of the flag. That's what it's supposed to represent. Very much like caprese salad is the same 3 ingredients. And again, they're supposed to represent the Italian flag.
Okay. How many times? Oh, this one's yours.
How many times has Italy won the Football World Cup? 4 times. That surprised me. I had no idea. 2006 was the latest, 1982, and wow, there was a big gap, 1938 and 34.
I remember the summer that I was there in I remember the summer I was there in 94. They were in the semifinals, and it was like nothing else I'd experienced. I mean, it was like the whole town was on the streets having a party. And it was really, really fun. That's when I became addicted to watching the World Cup. 9. Which region of Italy routinely serves gelato in brioche? The answer is Sicily. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? It sounds kind of gross.
And of the 4 of us that were together when we had it, I was the only one who really liked it. But it makes good sense because they slice a big brioche roll and they paddle out a big blob of gelato and put it on the brioche roll, and it soaks up any melting much better than a cone would. It's heavy, trust me, when you get down to the brioche. I did not finish the brioche. I finished all the pistachio gelato.
Well, when I'm going to have to try that when I get down to that part of Italy and get to Sicily.
Wonderful.
This question is yours.
Yes. How many museums are there in Italy? Over 4,000, actually 4,588 museums and similar institutions.
Yeah, they have a lot. Yeah, they have a lot of cultural heritage. The Renaissance beginning there, I guess, gave them a head start. Okay, how many different shapes of pasta are there in Italy? It's about 350. But in addition, a lot of them have different names in different regions of the country too, because they all have slightly different dialects to some extent, and so there's 300 different shapes, but then there's exponentially more names because the same shape will have multiple names in different parts of Italy because they love their pasta, as do I. Okay, last question.
What is the longest river in Italy? And the answer is the Po River at 405.1 miles.
Right. Cool. And then we added a couple of other fun facts. Well, I'll read this one, or why don't you read this one because this is your specialty.
So gelato is actually healthier than ice cream. It's made with a lesser fat level of milk, and it's not aerated like ice cream. It's also served slightly warmer than traditional ice cream is, and it coats the mouth better because of that, and it gives it a much richer feel. And there is gelato purists are appalled if a scoop is used to serve.
That
It
I know.
it has to be served with a paddle because that helps soften and warm it. And then the last fun fact I found on gelato was that the first gelato shop ever opened in France was opened by a Sicilian fisherman.
Who was
And I
living
need to
in,
do more research on
yeah,
that.
who was living in France. All right.
Right.
And then I focused on different inventions of the Italians, that not only they invent many musical instruments, not just the viola, the piano, and the mandolin, but other ones as well, including the violin. They also invented the typewriter, which I didn't know, the Vespa, which is not surprising, but optical eyeglasses, banking, that started in Venice, the Julian calendar, opera. We probably could have guessed that. The espresso machine, and then, of course, gelato. So, all right, let's exit out of here and go back to us. So we hope you guys like that quiz. We here to also talk about a few more aspects of our event. We're going to be raffling off some prizes, including a private lesson with Monica, which is awesome. I can't enter, but she'll tell us a little bit about how that works if they win the private lesson.
Well, what I'd love to do is customize a lesson, whatever the person wants to learn that's doable within about a 90-minute block of time. My custom lessons tend to be slightly longer than what we're going to do together. And we can typically in that 90 minutes do an entire little meal or 3 or 4 appetizers or a quick dessert. Whatever cuisine you're interested in.
So it doesn't have to be Italian.
It does not have to be Italian.
Okay.
We can do whatever you're interested in. I do customize everything so that it's exactly what you want to learn. And I'll gear it towards your cooking level. If you're more advanced, we can do something a little more complicated. If you're a beginner, we can even play with knife skills and end up with something wonderful to eat as well.
Oh, that sounds so great. That's so great.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things that was interesting for me when we were first discussing this, you said one of the things you'd learned from teaching online was that not only did you have to give an ingredient list ahead of time, but also an equipment list. So that when you're cooking online with a teacher like you're not scrambling for your zester to zest your lemons. You have it right there because we're going to provide everybody who signs up an equipment list as well. So you have everything that you need right there at your fingertips to follow along without any delay, so you don't fall behind.
Yep. Because the more we have, I'll have multiple squares to keep track of on the screen to make sure everybody's staying with me.
Right.
But again, we can, I will have a camera focused on my hands so that you can watch the cutting board or watch the skillet, so you can see clearly what you need to see in order to cook with me.
That's great. That's awesome. And then the runner-up prize will be a gift certificate to participate in 3 Context conversations. Now, Context is a great company. They're the ones that I use on the ground for tour guides because they're the most scholarly, to be honest. And they have wonderful online programs that they're doing right now. You could go to their website and check it out. But we'll be giving off a gift certificate for 1 or 2 of their classes as the runner-up prize for those that attend our course. Let me share with you the page so we can describe, a little bit about it. You can see some of the images, and then we'll have time for questions. If any of you watching today have any questions, if you're watching the recording or replay of this, feel free to comment on this post, and one of us will reach out and answer your question. You can DM either one of us on Facebook, or we're going to be loading this up on YouTube, I think, as well. And if you have any questions, you can just put any questions you have in the comments. Again, the event's going to start in 2 weeks. But let's share the page that sort of describes all the details that we put together. And we'll also post this below the videos. So this is our page. Let me move this off to the side. Let me run this very short video. So it's basically 3 Sundays, 3 dishes, and 3 adventures. And as we talked about, you're going to get all you need to master these native Italian recipes. You'll get an understanding about how Italy's history reflects in the food. You'll be able to see Monica's hands. We're limiting the attendees, so there'll definitely be intimacy and a chance for you to engage both with Monica as she's teaching and with our on-the-ground tour guides. We're going to have the curated presentations from the 3 travel suppliers that I mentioned earlier. And they're great storytellers. That's why I picked them. And even if you feel like you've been to these places before, I guarantee you're going to learn something new that you didn't know. You're going to feel as good as on the ground there as we can get given the pandemic, and like so close to Italy that you're going to feel like you can taste it. Here we describe the prizes that we just described, and this is our itinerary. We're going to start at 4 o'clock. It's a little earlier than we would prefer in order to accommodate the fact that it's 10 o'clock in Italy, because again, our tour guides are on the ground. And then we're going to go to Sicily. I'm very excited about this. And then finally finishing up at the Amalfi Coast on March 7th. So that's all the details. If you guys are here and you have any questions, or Monica, is there anything else that you wanted to add that I maybe left out?
Well, I was just going to say that all the recipes I'm sharing, I was taught by chefs in Italy. They're adapted, obviously, for American ingredients and my style of cooking, but I was taught these directly by Italian chefs.
Awesome.
So they're really close to being as authentic as we can get here. If I shared with you the original written recipes I received from the chefs, you would have great fun with them, because it would be as if I wrote a recipe in Italian. You wouldn't be able to follow.
And I wanted to share a little bit about each of the suppliers. So Belmont is going to be doing our first presentation. I knew Belmont when they were still Orient Express, because one of my best friends from college, her husband used to work for the company. So when they were Orient Express, and they're known for really updating and making very stylish, old, sophisticated hotels. So sort of the classic hotels from the 40s, 50s, and 60s of Italy, and even longer. The location in Tuscany is a former castle. So I just love them. I'm a member of the Bellini Club, which means I can get travelers additional benefits and additional access to exclusive experiences. And then in Sicily, I'm working with Laura Massoni. She's the founder of See Italy. I had heard about See Italy right from the get-go in my travel network, which is Gifted Travel Network. She had a stellar reputation for creating great surprises and really local experiences. And she, all through the pandemic, wrote these wonderful, very heartfelt emails, which I very much enjoyed and made me feel like I got to know her. So it was very easy to pick up the phone and share with her that we had this idea, and she was on board very quickly. And then finally, Access Italy. I'm working with Marco Morico. They also have extensive knowledge in all of Italy. And they're basically new to GTN, but with a stellar reputation throughout Virtuoso, which GTN is a member of, and therefore I am as well. Again, GTN standing for Gifted Travel Network. And the one story that I remember hearing about something that they did with one of their clients was getting them access to parts of the Vatican that are not typical in the library, and they saw the Pope like walking down the hallway or something. So that was kind of pretty cool too. And all of them are very good for doing personalized trips, handling all the logistics so travelers don't need to worry about it, and really for their expertise in the region. So I'm very excited. I very carefully selected these 3 to guide us virtually, and then once things heal and reopen, for those Italy lovers who would like to go there, these would be the people that I would use. So we're just at 30 minutes. We didn't want to take up too much of your time this Super Bowl Sunday. Monica, do you have anything else to add before we sign off?
No, just I hope I get to see you all in 2 weeks and we can cook together.
Yeah, I'm looking for it too. We'll have, yeah, chow. We'll have the flavors and the fun. And again, we'll put the link below so that if you want to explore the description and want to actually sign up, you can do that right there. And we hope to see you. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.